The shank sliced through the air like a whisper from hell, aimed straight for Hunter's throat. "You're nothing but a pretty little bitch here, sweetheart," the inmate snarled, his breath hot and foul with yesterday's rage. In that frozen heartbeat, as blood sprayed across the concrete floor of San Quentin's yard, Hunter realized death wasn't the worst cage. Being invisible in your own skin was. San Quentin State Prison squatted on the foggy shores of the Bay Area like a concrete beast, swallowing men whole and spitting out ghosts. Hunter Ellis had arrived there 3 years ago, fresh off a botched robbery charge that pinned him for 5 to 10. At 24, he was all lean muscle and sharp edges, with green eyes that could cut glass and a smile that had once charmed baristas in Oakland coffee shops. But smiles didn't buy safety in the yard. Not when you were gay in a place where "faggot" was the opening line to every beatdown. They called him sissy from day one. Then female. It started with whispers in the chow line. Guys from the Aryan Brotherhood eyeing him like fresh meat, their tattoos twisting like serpents under the fluorescent buzz. Hunter kept his head down, traded cigarettes for silence. But silence was a luxury he couldn't afford. By week 2, he'd been cornered in the showers, soap slipping from his hands as rough palms pinned him to the tile. "Act like the girl you are," they'd growled, and the world blurred into pain and saltwater shame. He learned to fight dirty after that, nails-raking eyes, knees to groins, but it only painted a bigger target. The guards turned blind eyes. In Quentin, survival was a solo gig. Hunter's letters home to his mom in the Tenderloin piled up unanswered, his sketches of the Golden Gate Bridge smudged with tears on yellowed paper. He dreamed of fog rolling in like a lover's breath, of streets that didn't echo with catcalls. But dreams were contraband, and hope, that was a shank to the gut. It was a Tuesday in the prison library when everything cracked open. The air smelled of mildew and desperation, shelves sagging under dog-eared Tom Clancy's and faded law books. Hunter was tucked in the back, nose buried in a battered copy of The Great Gatsby, chasing Gatsby's green light like it was his own. The door clanged, and in walked Jax Harlan, 6'3" of coiled thunder, fresh transfer from Folsom. Jax was 40, built like a redwood with ink-black hair cropped military short and eyes the color of storm clouds over the Pacific. His record, armed robbery, assault, a laundry list that screamed, "Don't fuck with me." But it was the way he moved, deliberate, like he owned the shadows, that made the room hold its breath. Jack scanned the stacks, his gaze landing on Hunter like a spotlight. "You the one they call female?" His voice was gravel wrapped in velvet, low enough to rumble bones. Hunter's book slammed shut, heart jackhammering. He forced a glare, chin up. "That's what they say." "You here to add to the chorus?" A ghost of a smile tugged Jax's scarred lip. He dropped into the chair opposite, broad shoulders eclipsing the light. "Nah. Heard you got jumped last week in the laundry. Figured you could use a shadow." He slid a crumpled pack of smokes across the table. "Marlboros. The good shit. Name's Jax. And fuck what they call you. You're a man. Act like it." Hunter stared, the cigarettes burning a hole in his palm. No one offered without strings. "What's your angle? Protection racket?" Jax leaned in, close enough that Hunter caught the faint scent of soap and steel. "No angle. Just seen too many kids like you break. My brother was one. Got shanked over a goddamn candy bar because he wouldn't swing back." His eyes darkened, a flicker of something raw grief. "Maybe or the ghost of it. I couldn't save him. But you're still breathing. That night, in the dim stutter of his cell light, Hunter replayed the words like a lifeline. Jax Harlan. The name buzzed through the blocks by morning, whispers of his rep, enforcer for the general population, a lone wolf who didn't bend to gangs. By lights out, Jax was at Hunter's cell door during yard time, a wall of muscle against the probing stares. "Stick close," he murmured. "They test you once, you fold. Test twice, you're done." The first test came swift. In the mess hall, over trays of gray slop masquerading as meatloaf, Rico, the wiry Latino kingpin with a spiderweb tat crawling up his neck, leaned across tables. "Harlan, you slumming it with the pussy now? Thought you had standards." Jax didn't flinch. His fork clattered down, and in a blur, he was up, chair scraping like a gunshot. "Say it again, Rico. See how quick your standards get rearranged." The room froze, spoons hovering midair. Rico's crew shifted, but Jax's stare was a blade cold, unyielding. Rico backed off with a laugh that didn't reach his eyes, muttering "crazy white boy" under his breath. Hunter's pulse thundered. No one had ever stood for him. That night, in the yard under the glare of watchtowers, he found Jax by the chain link, staring at the bay's distant shimmer. "Why?" Hunter asked, voice cracking like thin ice. "You don't know me." Jax turned, moonlight carving shadows on his jaw. "I know enough. Eyes like yours? They don't lie. You're fighting a war in there." He nodded to Hunter's chest. "Let me help carry the ammo." It started small, shared smokes in hidden corners. Jax teaching him knife-hand strikes on rolled towels. Stories traded like currency. Jax spoke of Reno summers, a dad who welded trucks and a mom who sang Patsy Cline. "She called me her wild card," he'd say, voice softening. Always betting on the long shot. Hunter spilled his own ghosts. A childhood dodging his stepdad's belt in Oakland projects. First kiss stolen behind a taqueria with a boy named Marco who ghosted him for the straight life. Nights blurred into confessions. Jax's hand on Hunter's shoulder during lockdown, steady as an anchor. "You're tougher than you think, kid." The touches lingered, fingers brushing knuckles, a palm against the small of his back guiding him through crowds. Hunter's skin hummed, a forbidden spark in the dark. He caught himself watching Jax's laugh lines crinkle, the way his throat bobbed when he swallowed. Want bloomed like contraband ink, dangerous and alive. But Quentin wasn't built for tenderness. Whispers turned to probes. "Harlan's got a new bitch," they'd hiss in passing. Jax shut them down with glares that could curdle milk, but the pressure mounted. Then came the shakedown, guards ripping cells, random searches that always hit Jax's bunk. "Keep your head down," Jax warned one dawn, bruises fresh on his ribs from a slip in the gym. "They're watching." Hunter nodded, but fear gnawed like rust. He started sketching Jax in secret, half-finished portraits on toilet paper, capturing the curve of his neck, the quiet storm in his gaze. One slipped from his mattress during count. A guard pocketed it with a smirk. By evening, the note arrived, folded into his dinner tray, Harlan's soft for the fag. Time to clip wings. The yard erupted 2 days later. Hunter was mid-lap, Jax shadowing like a sentinel, when Rico's crew swarmed, 6 shadows peeling from the bleachers, shivs glinting, Pay up for the princess, Rico sneered, lunging. Hunter dodged, fist connecting with a jaw, but numbers crushed like waves. A blade nicked his arm, hot bloom of blood, and he hit the dirt, boot to his spine. Jax was a hurricane. He barreled through, fists like pistons, crack of bone, guttural roars. Touch him again, and I'll bury you. 1 down. 2. Rico staggering back with a gash across his cheek. Guards' whistles pierced the chaos, batons swinging, but Jax dragged Hunter clear, arms slung over his shoulder, blood mingling on the gravel. In the infirmary, stitches pulling tight, Hunter gripped Jax's hand. Calloused, warm. You could have walked away. Jax's thumb traced his knuckles. Ice fierce. Not without you. The words hung, electric. Their gazes locked, and in that sterile stink of antiseptic, Hunter leaned in, lips crashing tentative, then desperate. Jax froze, then surged back, kiss salt and fire, hands cupping Hunter's face like fragile glass. It was messy, born of adrenaline and ache, but it cracked the world open. God, kid, Jax breathed against his mouth. I've been waiting. From there, stolen moments became oxygen. Kisses in blind spots of the laundry, bodies pressed in the scriptorium stacks, whispers of mine against sweat-damp skin. Jax was a revelation, gentle where the world was brutal, mapping Hunter's scars with lips that promised redemption. You're not broken, he'd murmur during fevered nights, fingers tracing ribs. You're a goddamn masterpiece. Hunter melted, walls crumbling, love unfurling like contraband roses. For the first time, he felt seen not as female, but as Hunter. Whole. But love in Quentin was a fuse on a powder keg. Jax's past clawed back, a botched heist tie to Rico's cartel, debts unpaid. Whispers escalated to threats, notes in cells, accidental shoves in lines. Jax shielded, but cracks showed, dark circles under his eyes, a limp from a training mishap. Hunter begged him to report it, but Jax laughed it off. Snitches get stitches deeper than these. The betrayal hit like a gut punch. It was Eddie, Jax's cellmate, a lanky kid from Jax's Folsom days, who'd transferred in weeks back. Eddie, with his easy grins and bro hugs, the one Jax vouched for, shared smokes with. Hunter caught them in the wait yard one dusk, heads bent close. You sure about the kid? Eddie muttered. Rico's offering double if you flip. Jax's voice was ice. I said no. Drop it. But Eddie didn't. That night, during movie hour in the rec room, grainy Die Hard flickering on a pull-down screen, the lights flickered. Chaos, shouts, overturned chairs. In the blackout, hands yanked Hunter from his seat, chloroform rag biting sweet and chemical. He thrashed, vision tunneling, last glimpse Jax's roar cutting through, Hunter, before darkness swallowed. He woke in a utility closet, wrists zip-tied to pipes, mouth gagged with duct tape. Rico loomed, flanked by Eddie, whose face twisted guilty. Sorry, man, Eddie mumbled. Family first. Jax should have known. Rico's knife danced inches from Hunter's eye. Your night's coming. When he does, we end the fairy tale. Hours crawled, footsteps echoing, distant alarms. Then the door exploded inward. Jax a silhouette of fury, shiv in one hand, pipe in the other. He took Eddie down first, crunch of knee, whimper of betrayal, then Rico, blade clashing in sparks. Blood slicked the floor, Jax's shirt torn, a gash weeping red across his bicep. Run, Jax gasped, slicing Hunter's ties. They bolted through service corridors, heartbeats sinking in terror. Alarms wailed, boots pounding behind. Jax shoved Hunter toward a storm drain grate, rusted and half-forgotten. Go. I'll hold him. No! Hunter clawed back, nails digging. We go together. Jax's kiss was fierce, tasting of copper and goodbye. I love you, kid. More than this hell. Get out. Live for us. He sealed the grate, turning to face the flood of guards, shiv raised like a vow. Hunter crawled into the night, fog swallowing his sobs, the bay's chill seeping bone deep. He emerged on the marshes, sirens keening distant, a ghost with Jax's blood on his hands. Dawn broke as he hitched to Oakland, Mom's door creaking open to his collapse. Baby? Oh God. Baby. Weeks blurred. Lawyers. Appeals. The truth spilling in affidavits. Jax's trial-by-fire stand exposed the rot, Rico's ring, Eddie's flip, guard complicity. Hunter testified, voice steady for the first time, green eyes burning. He risked everything. For me, the verdict came swift. Jax's sentence commuted for heroism, gates swinging open under a rare California sun. Hunter waited at the gates, sketchpad clutched like a talisman. Portrait finished, Jax's smile captured eternal. Their embrace was salt and sunlight, bodies fitting like lost puzzle pieces. Told you, Jax whispered, lips to Hunter's temple. Long shot, in the tenderloin flat, under strung lights and Mom's quilts, they rebuilt, tattoos tracing scars, nights tangled in whispers of futures. Hunter's art bloomed, galleries in the Mission showcasing prison sketches that screamed humanity. Jax welded again, steady hands shaping metal into hope. They weren't fixed. Ghosts lingered in flinches, nightmares in sweat. But love? It was the hook that pulled them from the depths. America's underbelly had tried to rename him, break him. But Jax saw the man, risked the abyss. And in that risk, Hunter found his name again. The fog clung to San Francisco's hills like a bad memory, but for Hunter, it was rebirth. 6 months out, the city pulsed with a rhythm he'd forgotten. Horns blaring on Market Street, the sizzle of taqueria carts cutting through the chill. His mom's cramped Victorian in the Mission creaked under the weight of homecoming. Mismatched furniture piled with laundry, the air thick with arroz con pollo and unspoken apologies. You look like a man now, she'd say, eyes crinkling over her coffee mug, but Hunter knew the truth. He looked like survival, thinner, sharper, with ink from Jax's makeshift tattoos blooming on his forearms. A compass rose, etched in the infirmary with a sterilized guitar string, pointing north to freedom. Jax's release had been a media circus. San Quentin hero walks free, the Chronicle screamed, plastering his mug, stoic jaw, storm eyes across front pages. Reporters swarmed the gates, mics thrusting like shivs, but Jax waved them off with a middle finger and a grin. Ain't no hero. Just a guy who couldn't let go. He'd piled into Hunter's beat-up Civic. Windows down, wind whipping as they tore toward the bridge. Smells like possibility, Jax said, hand on Hunter's thigh, thumb circling denim. Hunter nearly wrecked. choking on a laugh-sob hybrid. Their first night free was a sacrament. Mom's spare room became sanctuary, walls papered in Hunter sketches, bed sagging under thrift store sheets. Jax was reverent, hands mapping Hunter like uncharted bay, collarbones kissed soft, ribs traced with whispers. "Missed this," Jax growled, voice wrecked as he sank lower, lips brushing hip bones. Hunter arched, fingers knotted in black hair, the world narrowing to heat and hitch of breath. It was slow, unhurried, Jax's mouth a vow, taking Hunter apart with tongue and teeth until stars burst behind eyelids. Release came shuddering, Jax swallowing like communion, then rising to claim his own turn, Hunter's hands guiding, eager and sure. They collapsed tangled, hearts hammering syncopated, Jax's laugh rumbling against Hunter's neck. Home, but Quentin's shadow stretched long. Nightmares clawed Jax awake, sweats where he'd swing at phantoms, murmuring, "Hold the line." Hunter learned the ritual, water glass by the bed, body curled close, stories of Reno sunrises to chase the dark. "Tell me about the wild card," Hunter would prompt, and Jax would spin yarns of boyhood scrapes, voice graveling softer with each word. In turn, Jax dragged Hunter to AA meetings in church basements, coffee bitter as truth. "We don't get clean alone," he'd say, sponsoring Hunter through the cravings that hit like withdrawal nicotine ghosts, the itch for control in chaos. Work came piecemeal. Jax landed at a body shop in the Dogpatch, welding chassis for lowriders, his steady hands turning scrap to shine. "Feels right," he'd say, grease-streaked, kissing Hunter amid tool benches. Hunter waitressed at a Castro diner, flirty banter with drag queens over Eggs Benedict, tips fat from sympathetic locals. But the art, that was fire. He poured Quentin into canvases, chain-link abstractions bleeding red, portraits of forgotten faces with eyes pleading "see me." A gallery owner in Soma spotted his Instagram, raw, unflinching, and offered a show. "This is America, kid," she said, chain-smoking Virginia Slims. "We love our redemption arcs." The opening night was electric, velvet ropes, Chardonnay in plastic cups, Jax in a button-down that strained at shoulders, arm possessive around Hunter's waist. "Proud as hell," he murmured, nuzzling ear as critics murmured approval. But midway, the door swung, and in strode Eddie, paroled early, suit hanging loose on his frame, eyes darting like a cornered rat. Hunter froze, champagne flute cracking in grip. Jax's body tensed, a live wire. "Easy," Hunter breathed, but Eddie approached, hands up placating. "Harlan." "Ellis." Eddie's voice cracked, Adam's apple bobbing. "I came to apologize. Clean slate, you know? Therapy and all that shit." Lies hung off him like cheap cologne, eyes flicking to exits, the telltale bulge of a recorder in his pocket. Jax's laugh was bark. "Apology accepted. Now fuck off before I repaint these walls with your teeth." Eddie slunk out, but the poison lingered. That night, as Hunter sketched by lamplight, Jax's profile, fierce and fond, doubt crept. "What if he flips again?" Hunter whispered, pencil snapping. Jax pulled him onto the bed, straddling laps, hands framing face. "He won't. And if he does, we face it. Together." The kiss deepened, urgent, Jax's hips grinding slow, friction building like storm clouds. Clothes shed in whispers, skin to skin, Jax entering with a groan that echoed souls. They moved as one, Hunter's nails raking back, Jax's pace faltering at pleas of more. God, more. Climax shattered them, bodies quaking, afterglow sticky with sweat and certainty. You're my north, Jax panted. Always. Summer swelled, Bay Bridge gleaming under relentless sun. They road-tripped Highway 1, Big Sur cliffs dropping to turquoise, Jax's truck rumbling like thunder. Picnics on bluffs, PB&J, stolen beers, Hunter's head in Jax's lap as waves crashed hymns. Ever think about forever? Hunter asked one dusk, fingers laced over Jax's heart. Jax's smile was sunset warm. Every damn day. You, me, a cabin up in Mendocino. Weld for tourists, you paint the coast. Dreams spun lazy, but undercurrents stirred. Jax's shop hit by audits. Whispers of old cartel ties resurfacing. Just noise, he'd dismiss, but Hunter saw the flinch. Fall brought the storm. Rico's appeal denied, but his brother Vince, a Bay Area enforcer with a grudge etched in gold teeth, didn't forget. It started subtle. Slashed tires on Jax's truck, accidental bricks through gallery windows. Hunter's show sold out, but reviews twisted. Prurient prison porn? Jax shielded, taking night shifts at a security gig, but exhaustion carved him hollow. I'm handling it, he'd snap, then soften with kisses that tasted of fear. The night it broke, rain lashed the city like judgment. Hunter came home soaked from closing shift, key sticking in the lock, changed, damn it. Inside, Jax paced, phone shattered on the floor, blood trickling from split knuckles. Vince called. Want some meat? Settle the score for Rico. His eyes were wild, love laced with terror. I go alone. Keep you clear. Hunter's blood iced. Bullshit. We're in this. He grabbed coats, storming out, tires screeching toward the docks in Hunter's Point, where salt air met rust and regret. Vince waited under sodium lamps, crew flanking like hyenas, tattoos gleaming wet. Harlan, he drawled, toothpick rolling. Brought the bitch? Romantic. Jax stepped forward, rain sheeting off shoulders. This ends tonight. No more blood, but Vince laughed. Signal given, guns drawn, shadows lunging. Chaos erupted. Hunter dove behind crates, heart slamming, as Jax fought like demon-possessed, fists flying, a wrench swung like Excalibur. A shot cracked, wild, grazing Jax's thigh, bloom of red. Hunter screamed, grabbing a loose pipe, swinging blind, crack to a knee, thug crumpling. Vince lunged for Hunter, chokehold tightening, vision spotting. For my brother, he hissed. Then Jax was there, tackle like freight train, bodies slamming concrete. Fists rained, grunts wet, Jax pinning, pipe raised. Enough, Jax roared, weapon clattering. We're done. Walk away. Vince spat blood, crew dragging him back. This ain't over, cabron. Sirens wailed distant, blues flashing. They bolted, limping to the truck, Jax's leg a firebrand. Yar lights buzzed sterile, stitches pulling as cops took statements. Self-defense, the report read, but Hunter knew, debts like these didn't dissolve in rain. Back home, dawn graying windows, Jax slumped on the couch, leg elevated. Hunter knelt, cleaning wounds with tender swipes. You could have died. Tears tracked silent. Jax cupped his cheek, thumb smudging salt. Worth it. Every scar, their foreheads touched, breaths mingling, love a quiet anchor in the wreck. Promise me, Hunter whispered. No more heroes alone. Jax's kiss sealed it, soft then searing. Promise, Winter whispered in, holidays strung with lights and lies. Mom's tamales steamed the table, Jax carving turkey with mock gravity. Like a pro-con, laughter bubbled, but undercurrents tugged Vince's silence a ticking bomb. Hunter's second show loomed, canvases raw with their story, entwined shadows, twin figures emerging from bars, hands clasped defiant. Eddie resurfaced then, clean-shaven, a chip glinting, letter slipped under door. I was wrong. Oh, you both. Let me make it right. Jax burned it, but Hunter hesitated. Redemption's real, Jax. For us, it was. The call came New Year's Eve, Eddie, voice trembling. Vince is moving. Hit on the gallery tomorrow. I overheard. Go to the cops. But they own half the force. Panic clawed. Jax paced, cursing. We run. Hunter's resolve hardened. No. We fight smart. They met Eddie in a No Valley park. Benches slick with dew. Jax's hand iron on Hunter's knee. Eddie spilled. Drop points. Payoffs. Vince's warehouse in the Bayview. I flipped for real this time. Immunity. Cops swarmed at dawn. Sweat crashing doors. Vince cuffed in boxers. Empire crumbling. Eddie walked. Tear-streaked testimony sealing fates. Jax and Hunter watched from shadows. Ghosts exorcised. Spring bloomed tentative. Cherry blossoms dusting Castro streets. Jax's limp fading to swagger. The cabin in Mendocino materialized. A-frame on cliffs. Waves serenading. Hunter's brushes danced. Jax's welds gleamed. Forge fire mirroring heart's forge. One twilight, as sun dipped gold, Jax knelt on weathered deck. Marry me, Hunter. Not for papers. For us. The long shot, that one. Tears blurred the ring, simple band, scavenged silver. Yes, Hunter breathed, pulling him up into salt-kissed forever. Their love wasn't fairy tale scarred, stubborn, American as apple pie and back alley brawls. But in each other's arms, they were unbreakable. Called female once, now called home. Mendocino's coast was a jagged love letter to resilience. Cliffs sheer as knife edges, waves gnashing like old grudges, wildflowers defiant in the cracks. The cabin perched there like a dare, redwood bones weathered gray, windows framing Pacific tempests. Hunter woke to salt spray and Jax's snoring, a symphony of safe. Mornings were ritual, coffee black as midnight, brewed on a hiss of propane. Jax's arms slung possessive over hips as they watched dawn bleed pink. Morning, artist, he'd rumble, stubble rasping kisses to shoulder blades. Hunter'd twist, morning wood pressing insistent, lazy thrusts under quilts turning urgent. Jax's hand stroking sink, release spilling warm and whispered. Love you like air, life wove simple but deep. Jax commuted to a coastal yard in Fort Bragg, shaping hulls for fishing boats, hands scarred but sure. Feels like building something that lasts, he'd say, grease under nails, pulling Hunter into shop shadows for quick, Heated claims back against hulls, pants shoved low, Jax entering with a groan that echoed waves. Hunter's studio bloomed in the cabin's loft, easels crammed, turpentine sharp, canvases capturing coast's fury, gulls wheeling over foam, lovers' silhouettes etched in foam. Galleries clamored now, from SMOMA scouts to Portland collectives, but Hunter stayed small. Local shows, proceeds to prison reform. Art's my shank now, he'd joke, but eyes serious. Cuts the bullshit, yet freedom chafed subtle. Jax twitched at shadows, truck backfiring like gunshots, news clips of Bayview raids stirring ghosts. Therapy helped. Sessions in Ukiah with a vet counselor who got the cage rage. You're not your sentence, the doc'd say, and Jax nodded, but nights he'd wake swinging, Hunter's name a talisman against phantoms. Hunter's own demons prowled, galleries praising his authenticity, but whispers lingered, that prison fag? Echoes of female in polite sneers. Mom visited Sundays, tamales in Tupperware, grilling Jax like in-law mafia. You hurt my boy. I shank you myself. Jax laughed, but proposed proper over her posole, rings slipping on amid tears and toasts. Marriage anchored them. Vows exchanged barefoot on the bluff. Officiant a salty lobsterman. Witnesses gulls and wind. Jax's suit jacket flapped like wings. Hunter's linen shirt untucked. Wild hair tamed by Jax's fingers. I vow to risk it all. Every damn day, Jax said, voice cracking Pacific loud. Hunter's reply, to see you, always. The man who named me back. Rings exchanged. Kiss salt deep. Waves applauding crash. Honeymoon was the road, PCH south to Big Sur. Tent pitched on Pfeiffer Beach. Purple sands under stars. They fucked like reclamation. Jax pinning wrists to earth. Hunter riding hips under moon. Cries swallowed by surf. Mine, Jax growled each thrust. And Hunter shattered affirming. Body arching bow taut. Fall painted cliffs gold. But storm clouds gathered inland. Vince's trial ballooned, federal now. Rico charges unspooling cartels like yarn. Jax testified. Voice steady on stand. They broke boys for sport. I broke the cycle. Jurors wept. Headlines hailed. Ex-con's courage crushes crime. But Eddie, the flip haunted. Paroled to witness protection. He vanished. Rumors of relapse. A bar brawl in Reno. Then the letter, postmarked Vegas, scrawled on motel stationery. Harlan, Vince's crews circling. They know about the cabin. Run or fight. Jax burned it again, but doubt festered. He's playing us, he snarled, pacing loft. Hunter caught his wrist, green eyes fierce. Or he's trying. Like we did. Arguments simmered, Jax's paranoia spiking, Hunter's trust a frayed thread. Nights cooled. Jax slept on couch, Hunter sketching alone, lines jagged with unspoken. We're stronger than this, Hunter pleaded one dawn, straddling lap, hands framing stubbled jaw. Jax's resolve cracked, kiss hungry, fingers digging hips, flipping positions, Jax driving deep with desperate rhythm. They came gasping, bodies slick, but afterglow held thorns. I can't lose you, Jax admitted, voice muffled in neck. Winter howled in, nor'easters lashing windows. Holiday cards piled. Mom's glittered scrawl, gallery invites. They drove to Oakland for Christmas, tinsel-draped tree in the Victorian. Jack's chopping onions for gumbo while Hunter strung lights. Mom pulled him aside. Eyes sharp. He's carrying ghosts. Mijo. Help him lay 'em. That night, snow dusting rare, they walked Golden Gate, winds whipping, Jax's arm steel around waist. Remember the bridge sketches? Hunter asked, leaning rail. Jax nodded, pulling close. Your light. Always chased it. Confession spilled. Jax's fear, not of Vince, but of unworthiness. I'm 45, kid. Baggage like lead. You deserve. Hunter silenced with lips. Fierce. Shut up. You're my wild card. Play it. Back home. Fire crackling. They made love slow. Jax worshipping thighs with tongue. Hunter gasping atop. Pace building to crescendo. Forever, they chorused. Release a vow renewed. Spring thawed tentative, but Eddie's ghost resurfaced. A call, burner phone, voice slurred. They're coming. May 15th. Warehouse in Fort Bragg. End it. Click. Jax's face ashen. Trap? Hunter's gut twisted. Or closure? They debated nights, run to Seattle? Arm the cabin? Mom urged cops. No more lone wolves. But trust in blue ran thin. Quinton's guards echoed. Ultimately, resolve hardened. Face it. They prepped quiet. Shotgun from Jax's shop days. Legal now. Hidden in truck. Hunter sketched maps. Escape routes inked like veins. May 15th dawned fog-shrouded. Cliffs veiled ghosts. Warehouse loomed industrial rusted silos. Bay doors yawning. Eddie waited inside. Gaunt. Track marks faint on arms. Thanks for coming, he rasped. Eyes hollow. Vince's remnant, 3 guys. Want Harlan's head for the bust. Proof spilled. Burner texts. Coordinates. Jax nodded. Grip iron on Hunter's hand. We take him down. Clean. Ambush hit at dusk. Truck rumbling gravel. Shadows peeling from stacks. First shot whined past. Jax diving cover. Shotgun booming echoes thunder. Hunter's heart jackknifed. Pipe from earlier days clutched white-knuckled. Stay down, Jax bellowed, pumping rounds. One thug crumpling. Chaos blurred. Grunts. Muzzle flash. Eddie's wild swing felling another. The third lunged for Hunter, knife arcing, but Eddie tackled. Blade sinking unintended. No. Hunter's scream. Eddie's gurgle. Blood pooling dark. Jax finished it, shot clean. Body slumping. Silence crashed. Sirens keening faint. Eddie wheezed. Hand clutching Hunter's. Sorry. For everything. Redeem? Eyes glazed. Gone. Jax pulled Hunter close. Bodies shaking. It's over. Cops swarmed. Statements tangled, self-defense. Again. Headlines spun. Prison Pal's final stand. Burials came quiet. Eddie under pines. Anonymous. Jax and Hunter drove home silent. Cabin lights beacon. That night, rain pattering. They held each other. No words, just touch. Jax's fingers trace spine. Slow circles blooming heat. Need you, he murmured. Rolling atop. Entry gentle. Eyes locked. They moved as healing thrusts measured. Gasps prayers. Climax a quiet wave washing wounds. Summer healed slow. Gallery in SF mounted redemption triptych. Quentin Cage. Betrayal blade. Love's bloom. Crowds wept. Checks cashed to queer youth shelters. Jax welded a sculpture. Two figures entwined in steel, defiant against rust for the cabin yard. Us, he said, welding sparks flying like stars. Anniversary hit with sunfire. Bluff picnic. Wine from Anderson Valley. Jax's gumbo steaming. 1 year, Hunter toasted, ring glinting. Jax pulled a box, velvet, nestled sketches, their story, illustrated. Your light, my north, tears pricked, Hunter's gift, tattoo gun, buzz humming. Mark me, he said, shirt off. Jax inked careful, a wild card on ribcage, queen of hearts intertwined. Pain bloomed sweet, kiss ceiling. Night fell velvet, stars pricking. They made love on blankets, Jax's mouth mapping ink, Hunter's cries fogging air. Pace built feral, hips snapping, nails raking, release exploding shared. Always, Jax panted, collapsing. Years wove on, adoptions whispered, a kid from the system, wide-eyed with their scars. America ground gears, but their corner held. Love forged in fire, unbreakable as redwood. Called female once, now called family. The man who risked everything, he won the pot. Decades distilled to salt and stories, but the cabin stood sentinel. Eaves groaning under ivy now, cliffs eroding patient as time. Hunter at 54, silver threading dark hair, green eyes still cutting but softened, like sea glass tumbled kind. Arthritis nipped his brushes, but canvases piled retrospectives in L.A., books of sketches dog-eared on nightstands. Jax, 70, moved slower, limp a companion, but his laugh boomed unchanged. Hands steady welding miniatures for tourists. Lighthouses, anchors, symbols sold with winks. Keeps the ghosts at bay, he'd say. But truth was Hunter bedside vigil. Mornings with coffee and quiet awe. The kid came at 40, Leo, 8 years old, all gangly limbs and haunted brown eyes, plucked from Oakland foster churn. Why us? He'd asked first meet, chin jutted defiant. Jax knelt, a level. Because we know cages, kid. And how to bust out. Adoption papers signed under rainbow flags. Castro parade roaring approval. Leo bloomed wild. Skateboards shredding bluffs. Hunter teaching charcoal strokes. Jax welding tiny sculptures. Your hands, now mine. Family wove tight, barbecues with mom, till her quiet passing. Tamales recipe etched eternal. Holidays with Jax's Reno kin, estranged no more. But age unearthed old fractures. Jax's hip gave first surgery in Santa Rosa, rehab a bitch of pain pills and physio. Hunter sat bedside, sketching charts of recovery, but nights Jax thrashed, Quentin flashbacks vivid. They're coming, he'd mutter, and Hunter'd soothe, body spooning, whispers of Mendocino dawns. Here, love. Here, their intimacy shifted, less fire, more ember, hands exploring slow, Jax's mouth reverent on scars, Hunter's fingers coaxing release with patient strokes. Still you, Jax groaned, eyes wet. Always my masterpiece, Leo noticed shadows. At 16, he cornered Hunter in the studio, oil paints rainbowing smock. Dad Jax. He dreams bad. About prison, Hunter nodded, Setting brush. Yeah, Mijo. But he fights him. Like he fought for me. Story spilled edited, the yard, the love, the risk. Leo's eyes widened, then hugged fierce. Your heroes. From there, Trinity deepened. Leo's queerness bloomed gentle. First boyfriend, a shy artist from school. Jack's grilling tacos while grilling intentions. Hurt him. I weld you shut. Vince's echo faded, but new storms brewed. Climate chewed coasts. Waves claiming yards of bluff. Cabin teetering. Insurance balked. Act of God. But Hunter fought bureaucratic dragons. Lawyers pro bono from reform circles. Jax rebuilt seawall himself. Back screaming. Leo hauling stones teen strong. Stubborn as us. Hunter laughed. But worry gnawed. Jax's cough lingering. Doc visits hushed. The diagnosis dropped like anvil. Lung cancer. Stage 3. From shop fumes and forgotten smokes. Jax took it stoic. Cracking. Wild cards bust. But eyes betrayed fear. Not of dying, but leaving. Hunter shattered private. Studio canvases slashed. Then mended into abstracts of rage and grace. Leo raged too. Slam poetry nights venting. Words weapons. They rallied trials in SF. Alternative healers in Big Sur. Community fundraisers with Hunter's art auction sky high. Summers they claimed fierce road trips to Reno. Jax showing Leo casino lights. Stories of boyhood wild. One night, under desert stars, Jax pulled Hunter aside. Motel balcony creaking. If I go first. Voice broke. Hunter silenced. Kiss fierce. Shut up. We're old together. Back room. Leo snoring adjacent. They loved desperate, Jax atop. Thrusts measured against pain. Hunter's legs wrapped anchor. Feel me? Jax urged. Pace faltering to grind. Release came tear salt. Bodies clinging. Fall waned. Leaves gold as rings. Jax weakened. Bedbound. Oxygen hissing companion. Hunter read Gatsby aloud. Voice steady. Green eyes tracing beloved lines. Jaw hollowed. Hair silver storm. Leo played guitar soft. Folk tunes Jax hummed raspy. Proud. Jax whispered one dusk. Hand in Hunter's. You gave me everything. The end came gentle. Dawn fog rolling. Jax slipped quiet. Breath easing. Hunter's head on chest. Leo's hand laced. Heart stilled. But love, it roared on. Grief hollowed, but didn't break. Hunter and Leo mourned coastal. Ashes scattered bluff. Waves taking wild card home. Gallery retrospective. For Jax, risks taken. Portraits pulsing life. Leo's art echoed. Murals in Oakland. Queer youth centers funded fierce. Years layered. Hunter at 70. Cabin sold to trust. New place inland. Vineyards rolling. Easel by window. Leo married his artist. Their own kid toddling. Dark hair and green fleck eyes. Visits brimmed. Stories retold. Jax's sculptures garden guardians. He risked it all, Leo'd say. Kid on knee. Hunter'd nod. Sketching triptych. Cage. Kiss. Constellation. Old age softened edges. Hunter's hands tremor. But letters flow to prisoners, you're seen. Fight. America churned, rights won. Lost. Reclaimed. But Hunter's corner held. Love's legacy. Human as heartbeat. Called female once. Renamed eternal. Survivor, lover, father. The man who risked everything, his light burned on, guiding long shots home.